In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I'm going to make 100K in Q4. And when I say 100K here, don't mean revenue at all. I mean in net profit. Bottom line net profit after absolutely everything, okay? If it was revenue, I mean, we're doing way over this every single month, okay? But Q4, after all staff costs, after my costs, I'm going to be talking about how we're going to do it and also why we've set this goal. Now, before I get into the video, first of all, about 5 years ago, I was getting paid about £1,200 a month working at Barclays, and around about 6 months before that, I was working at Sainsbury's on around £8 per hour, which is absolutely crazy. The transformation, which I've kind of gone through over the past 5 years, is just absolutely wild, right? So, first of all, right, why have I set this goal of 100,000 in Q4? It's simply because I'm very realistic and we've built the systems, the infrastructure to be able to do this. Now, I'm not special, right, at all. Like I said, I used to work in a bakery at Sainsbury's and I was working at Barclays. Like, there's nothing special about me, and hopefully this video you can get some inspiration on how you can do the exact same as well. And also towards the end of the video, I will give you a little bit of hints and tips on what you can do to sort of get started. Now, Q4, okay? Q4. Why is this so important? Importante. Why is it so important? Now, I'm not sure on the exact figures on how much of a percentage increase that people begin shopping, but just think about it from a consumer point of view. Think about what happens around Q4, what holidays are around there. You have Halloween, you have Black Friday, which is towards the end of November, is it, or October, I don't know, but it's where huge sales happens, or sales, should I say. And also you have the lovely Christmas, right? You also have New Year's, loads of times where people are off with their families and stuff, people are having holidays, people are seeing families, presents are getting bought, right? Gatherings are happening, food is getting bought. Everything in terms of buying, whatever it may be, whether it's presents, whether it's just food in general, is spiked. And not just spiked, but spiked massively over the months of October, November, and December. Okay, so this is why it's super important, because Q4, which is the last quarter of the year, if anybody is not in business here, you don't really have to be in business to know that really, but Q4, the last 3 months of the year, is where things go down, okay? Now, we make money all year round. However, Q4 is where everyone makes a hell of a lot more money. Now, I want to just show a little difference between what people do. Now, you've got some people on one end which hope for more sales, okay? And then you've got the other side, the engineer, okay? Now, what do I mean by that? You got people up here which just hope more sales are going to come in. And to be honest, yeah, they probably will, okay? But it's not going to be astronomical like you think it's going to be unless you engineer them sales. And this is what I want to sort of touch on in this video, really. You need to be engineering these sales, because while, yes, you could be selling some candy canes for Christmas and they may spike, you're hoping that they're going to spike because you kind of know that they do. Or let's say, for example, you're just selling toys and you're hoping my toy's going to get bought because people are going to love it for people as a Christmas present. Okay? You can't just think about that. You need to engineer them, okay? And it's done by quite a few steps here, okay, which I'm going to be speaking through. But before I went into all of these steps and things, I just wanted to shift your mindset from the hoping mindset to the engineer's mindset, and also drill the importance of Q4, which we did just speak about. So here are some of the systems which will help you make 100K in Q4, maybe more, maybe less, you know, translate it to whatever level you're at, because it kind of works the same. If you want to make £1 million in Q4, it will pretty much work the same way. I'm just very realistic and very honest we're not going to make £1 million in Q4 because we don't have the funds to spend to make £1 million. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you some of the systems, right? Systems. Now the first one is inventory prep or preparation. I couldn't fit preparation on there. Now, what do I mean by inventory preparation? You need to be planning early, right? Guess when all the supermarkets like Asda, Tesco, Sainsbury's, all these companies, guess when they start? Do you want to take a guess? They start preparing for Christmas literally in January. Sometime, I'm not even sure, maybe they do it beforehand, but I know for a fact they do it at least 9 months in advance, okay? They start prepping for Easter. Some of my suppliers have sent me emails before, but started preparation for Easter 2026, but they sent me emails for that in June and July, okay? So you think that's like 10, 11 months, which is crazy. So you need to be doing the exact same via Amazon if you're selling on Amazon, or you don't have to be Amazon. It can be TikTok, Shopify, and things like this. But this is all going to be heavily Amazon dominant because I'm an expert in Amazon, and that's how I make most of my money, not all of it. So when you're speaking with suppliers, you need to be letting them know early. You're going to need this. You're going to be needing this amount of volume. And yes, I know sometimes this can be hard because you don't know how much you're going to sell. And nobody really ever knows how much they're going to sell over the Q4 because you can have some insane spikes, towards the beginning of December. You run out and you're like, oh no, I've got no stock left. But that is good in some ways because you're going to have to order more next year, which means you're going to make more next year, okay? So you need to be prepping early, speaking with suppliers, asking them loads and loads of questions, also doing loads and loads of research early, We created quite a few listings for Halloween specifically in February, okay? Now that is super early for us, to be honest, but we were creating Halloween listings and Christmas listings as well in June as well. So we've been prepping very, very early, and we were doing this product research early, like what's going to sell. If you also have a software called Helium 10, you can see when search volume spikes. So for example, if you typed in Halloween decorations, what I did in February, the search volume was almost nothing for it. There was about 60 searches per month. But Helium 10, this lovely, amazing tool, allows you to see that at that point in time. And it also allows you to backtrack all across, years and years and years of when it spikes. And when I looked at that, I could see, bang, up towards October, down, straight back down. Some keywords that I looked at, there were just 10,000 searches all the time, every single month, quite smooth. And that was a smooth product, it wasn't a seasonal one. Okay, but we're talking about seasonality here, Q4 and stuff. You need to be prepping early. And the next thing you need to think about if you want to make a boatload of money in Q4 is your cash flow. And especially if you're selling on Amazon, right? So cash flow. It's really, really important when selling on Amazon in general because they do hold a lot of your money, so it can be kind of hard. So you need to be thinking, okay, you're not overbuying, earlier in the year, first of all. Second of all, you need to be speaking with suppliers. Can you get credit terms with them? Can you get credit cards, like a Capital on Tap card? Because you may be surprised, a lot of suppliers actually accept card payments over the phone, which means you can go ahead and use credit cards, which give you a further 30 days to pay for that product and a further 30 days to, of course, sell that product as well. So let's say, for example, you spoke with your supplier, you committed to some stock, they reserved some for you, it's now September, you want to get it in stock for Amazon, you placed the purchase order with them around mid-September, they give you 30 days to pay, which means you don't have to pay till October, mid-October. But let's say you also had a credit card and you could pay over the phone with them, you don't need to pay that till let's say you pay it off in mid-October with the credit card, and then you don't have to pay the credit card until mid-November, which obviously gives you 60 days to sell that product, okay? Which is amazing, right? Usually you probably would have sold it by then, okay? So you need to be thinking credit terms with suppliers, credit cards, these types of things, and how can I sell my inventory faster without just, tanking the price to where you're making nothing. Margin still needs to be there, and you need to have a lot of it, all right? Now, another system is delegation. So delegation, which actually has been key to my success. And that's sort of like just delegating tasks to other people. For example, like the packing in our warehouse, that takes 3-4 full-time members of staff all day, every single week, right? So you can't do it all yourself, especially with the peaks in the Q4 period. You're going to have way more products to pack, so you're going to need to start delegating tasks. And if you have an Amazon business at the moment, you'll know what I mean. This may not be too relevant to you if you don't have a business, but I'm talking here to more to people that do have a business, an Amazon business, okay? But if you learn all these stuff, keep that drilled into your mind. It's going to help you build and make a boatload of money in the future when you do start a business, okay? So delegation is going to need to be done, simply put. Next one is something I'm working on. I'm not perfect by all means. We're still going to hit 100K, no problem. Like I've got that set in my mind. I'm hoping it's going to be double, to be honest. But next one is sales channels. You need to be on other sales channels. Okay, so we are now on Amazon, we're on eBay, we're on TikTok. A bit of a love-hate relationship with TikTok at the moment because we've got 2 accounts permanently banned for some reason, which is really affecting us. So sales channels, you need to be on other sales channels. We've also got a Shopify store now as well, which is amazing, 2 of them. So sales channels, okay? You can't just solely and only rely on Amazon. If you rely on other sales channels as well, you're going to be getting more margin from, for example, your Shopify store, your eBay store, because the fees are less, right? So you need to be focusing on other sales channels, and not only that, it's going to be building you a more of a long-term sustainable business, which you can potentially sell for a lot more money. Because when people value a business, and let's say they valued an Amazon business and Amazon business alone, they're going to value it at a certain point, right? Let's say $1 million, okay? Next, let's say if this is an Amazon business, but it also has 20% onto Shopify, and also it has a little bit of eBay and a little bit of, I don't know, Etsy, for example. They're going to probably value that maybe double because you have customer data, you have diversity, and much lower risk, okay? So other sales channels. The final system is focus on margin, right? Margin. I spelt that absolutely terribly, but focus on margin, right? It can be very tempting sometimes to just focus on those orange bars and those sales when it gets to that Q4 period, because it can go, honestly, ridiculously insane, okay? So you need to focus on your profit margin. You know, they have that saying, profit is vanity, revenue is sanity, whatever. I've probably got that mixed up the other way around, but you need to focus on your profit margin. The traffic's going to be insane. You don't need to compete so much and go crazy on having a lower price. It's going to get bought anyway. And a lot of the time in Q4, patience really does win, right? Because a lot of people, they tend to sell out around the beginning of December. Like I've done it myself, and it will probably happen again. You sell out because you never know how much you're going to sell, really. It's so hard to anticipate. So if you're patient, okay, I mean, if you're not getting any sales in mid-December at all, I'll start getting worried, right? But, you know, beginning of December, a lot of people sell out, or mid-December, a lot of people sell out. What about when it gets to the 18th of December and you one of the only people in stock, but you're £3 higher and you're making £3 extra margin than everybody else? It's going to be absolutely insane, okay? Patience really does win, so do also focus on your margin, okay? Now, I'm not saying to be crazy about it and sell £5 more than everybody else. You do need to be sensible, and I mean, there's ways you can, it depends what strategy you're doing. Like we do a lot of private label now. If you're differentiating yourself to be like this premium brand and stuff, you know, you can justify being at a higher price and also have a better margin. However, just generally speaking, just try and just keep this in mind in general. Now these are all the systems. You've got the inventory prep, cash flow, delegation, sales channels, margin. A couple of things, which is my game plan, is integrating all of these, of course, but a couple of other things to do with myself. I have already mentioned it, inventory prep. I'm huge on this, the biggest on this. Me personally, like I've been saying, I've created loads of listings for Halloween, Christmas and stuff like this. Literally at the beginning of the year, also at the start of summer and stuff like this. So inventory prep is huge, but not just that. Starting early for this is amazing. Okay, but what I'm doing as well is starting Amazon PPC advertising early. So I'm starting advertising for Halloween stuff now. It's August right now. It's quite early. I did it at the start of the year. This is when it became so apparent to me, was when I started advertising for Easter stuff in January. And what happened by the end of March? You want to hazard a guess? I was number one. Number one on the whole of Amazon for Easter products. Not for like ages, because what happens when you get to number one? Your sales go absolutely crazy. And I wasn't just number one in a subcategory, I was number one in Easter products for a day, and it made me sell out. It was crazy. Honestly, so crazy. So I started PPC super early. I have also been invested heavily into warehouse upgrades, so this kind of links into just systems in general. So what I've been doing is, let me just rub a couple of things out, is I've just been focusing on warehouse improvements, you know, like how can I make things more efficient? How can I make things more automated? So we've recently bought a machine which actually comes in about a couple of weeks, okay, and this was 100K. It's a lot of money, right? And you know, it's just simply just a lot of money. But that machine's going to last tens of years and be super efficient all of these years, right? Just for example, like if I just think about the way, it's going to cut the wage bills in half, which is crazy. And even when we start to scale and do double the numbers that we're doing now, it would be still, the wage bill would be so small still. I'm also upgrading staff roles, potentially taking new staff members on as well, which I'm actually super excited for. And the other thing that I'm doing, which is kind of unique to me and unique to people which already have a business, is making decisions based on data. You know, in any field of life, data is super important, and I've always neglected it. For example, in terms of food. My whole life. Like, I'm in pretty good shape. I've always been in pretty good shape because I train hard and I don't eat terribly, but I've only recently just started focusing on data on my food, and it's been super insightful. And it's super insightful in every field of life, every field of business. Like, companies make decisions based on data, okay? If you've got a ton of data in front of you, you can make so much better informed decisions, okay? So me, for example, been selling now for 5 years, I have so much data to go off and decisions to make from previous years. You know, I have made tons of mistakes before, and I do learn from them and tweak them and take them as lessons. So if you are starting right now, what can you do? How can you turn 500 quid into 5 grand, for example? I mean, so if, for example, if you're starting now, for Christmas, you are too late. To be honest, I think you're too late. But is that the only holiday? Is that the only season? We made more money in Easter, to be fair, than any other time. So can you start preparing for Easter now? Yeah, for sure. Of course you can. So if you want to start preparing for Christmas or Halloween now, you're probably a little bit too late. Maybe you can get your hands on stuff, okay? But if you want to start turning your £500 into 5 grand, your 5 grand a month into 50 grand a month, you need to start preparing early. If you want to start for Christmas next year, start in April. A couple of other things, if you do want to get up to this level of making a shit ton of money via the Amazon platform or any platform in general, focus on your margins, okay? I have touched on it already. Focus on your margins, and to do that efficiently and effectively, to be able to choose your margin almost, create your own product, create your own brand, okay? If you own your products, you own your brands, you're going to simply be able to be on a better margin because you're going to control the product, control the price, control the brand. Now, how I've got to where I am today, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't take mentorship, if I didn't invest in myself and things like this. Okay, so I credit myself to that. So if that's something you're looking to do, I would highly recommend it, okay? Now, I've maybe invested 40, 50,000 pounds into private education, which is what people have invested into university. But what's the difference? Look at where it's got me, okay? I've spent all of that, which is enough money to buy a university degree. And if you look at a lot of people my age with a university degree, they're not doing what I'm doing, okay? Just to be transparent, like, it's honest. I'm honest saying that, right? You know, 90% of people that get the uni degree, they don't do anything with it. And even when they do get the job that they want, it's not going to be what they hoped for, okay? Everybody hopes and dreams of making a boatload of money, and it really, really can be done. It just starts with you and choosing the right thing. If you like this video, drop a like and a comment down below. And if you do want any help directly from me, one-to-one, click the link down below and book a call in with me, and I will see you soon.